All right, guys, the day that we've all been waiting for is finally here. This is a thing that I've been looking forward to so much since it ever got announced, and I didn't get my hands on it early like some of the other content creators did, but I'm talking about the Praydog Unreal Engine, Unreal Engine 4 and 5 VR mod that he came out with, and he was touting that of it coming, in 2023, and right at the end of Strike of 2024, it came out, and I've been messing with it for the past couple days, and man, VR just got wide open on PCVR. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a brekkie is the gaming tech. Gaming tech is the gaming tech. Gaming techie.
Alright guys, so we're here on my desktop here, and I wanted to show you guys a couple of things about this mod before we dive into showing you exactly how this works. I'm going to be sharing this link here on the website, on my YouTube channel down in the link below, so you guys can get the same exact starting page that I have here. This is made by Praydog, obviously the creator of the mod. And just to start it off, this mod has been incredible for me. I've been playing with this for the last couple of days. I didn't have early access like the rest of the guys, not the rest of the guys, but some of the people out there in the community did. So I only got my hands on it when it went out to the public for everyone else. And I heard rumblings about it, and I was really excited about it because you guys know that I do 3D, I love 3D on this channel. I've done NVIDIA 3D vision stuff on this channel before. And there's also a universal mod out there that I've talked about in those videos as well to make a lot of those 3D games called GeoMod or Geo 3D that somebody out there is developing to get those 3D games to work on 3D screens and stuff like that, which has worked really well for me. And this is kind of the same idea. This universal mod is basically taking all the games that are made on the Unreal Engine 4 engine and Unreal Engine 5 and making a universal mod that you just inject into these games, and you basically have VR. Now, of course, you're not going to have 100% compatibility across every single game where everything is working perfectly, just like you wouldn't in the 3D version that I tried before. But it has been working for a majority of the games that I've tried, and obviously there's a spreadsheet we're going to take a look at here too, where it's just crazy how well it's actually working. And this obviously, may not be a replacement for VR as far as like native VR games, but these games really do feel sometimes like they were natively built for VR, depending on how these are actually made. And before we even get started, yes, you can actually mod games if you go a step further and not just play with an Xbox controller. I mean, you can also play with motion controllers, with your Oculus controllers, with your Index controllers, and make them really feel like these are native VR experiences. But anyway, more on that later. But here we are on the main website that Praydog made here, and I wanted to show you guys a couple of things. So, first of all, go onto this page, and the first thing I would recommend you guys doing is to go ahead and go to Praydog's GitHub page right here. This will bring up a new link as you guys are looking at here, and then you'll see UE4. You can go into here, and this is where the mod actually is. It will tell you all the different features about it, how to get started, how to inject it, a couple of different overviews, and then all that kind of stuff. And then this is really important here, the documentation. This documentation here we're going to talk about in a minute. But if you want to, you can go ahead and see the releases right here. You can see that this one just came out. You can go ahead and download the latest right from here, and boom, you got the latest download just like I'm doing right here. So you can go ahead and get it from there, and that is the actual mod that you would need to download. Really simple and small. So going back onto this page here, like I said, this is a documentation. I definitely urge you guys to read through this. Like I said, it goes through all the features. It gives you some quick starting guides, how to inject some of the games, some troubleshooting guides. It even has what games are supported and all that kind of stuff, and how to import profiles. So definitely make sure you read up on this. Even though I'm giving you a general overview on this video, I can't cover every single detail. So make sure you read up on that. Now that you have the mod downloaded, you can obviously, if you want to go through and you don't know which games are made with the Unreal Engine and all that kind of stuff, you can actually check your game's compatibility right from this main page. You can see right at the top, testing log. You can see right here. And this is a gigantic spreadsheet with a bunch of different games on here, as you guys are taking a look at, that all have playability, where some say works well, some say works perfectly, some even have videos on here. It tells you the date that they were tested, who tested it, what game view you're on, whether it's third person or first person, all that kinds of stuff. And, everything that you can see here, and they even have grades for the games and how well they work. A, perfectly. B, works well. C, works okay. Works poorly. You can see, as I'm scrolling through here, majority of them work. D is the one that works poorly, but you can see A works perfectly, C works okay. A lot of these are in the green state as you see me scrolling through here. It's kind of insane. Look at that. so many different games, and this is not every single game that's been out there. It even says right here, make sure you join their Discord, which I definitely urge everyone to do, because on the Discord, people are obviously finding new fixes and all that kinds of stuff for this that you may want to know about for different games. But they're at what is it, 667 on this spreadsheet, and there's more being tested every day now that the community has their hands on it, and you know, testing it out and seeing what works and what doesn't work and all that kind of stuff. So there's a bunch of different things on here. You can see how to import profiles. You can see the basics area. You can see perspectives. A lot of things that you can dive into on this page that you guys can explore. You can see the default mapping right here. So I'll let you guys explore the rest of this. I just wanted to show you those two quick things. How to download the mod, and of course check out the spreadsheet to see how things actually work. Now, minimizing this, you can see I have a big screen beyond right here, of course. That's what I use for my PCVR. You can see if I switch over to it real quick. Actually, before we switch over to it, let's go ahead and talk about the actual mod in an actual game. So let's, for example, say I pull up Steam. I have a dedicated section that I've been working with as far as getting some of my games to work, and I see right here flat to VR. So you can see some of the games I've tested and been messing with has been Crash Bandicoot, Dead Space, Gigabash, High on Life, Hogwarts Legacy, Kenna, Life is Strange, Pinball FX, Returnals, SpongeBob SquarePants, Jedi Fallen Order, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, 1 and 2. So those are some of the games I've been messing with. So how easy is it to run? Well, all you got to do is have your Steam VR running if you want. It could start off that way, which is what I have. I got my big screen connected. It's turned on, and you can see it is now playing. And just like normal, it's ready to go. I don't have my controllers connected because I'm not going to need them. Most of the games that I've been playing, actually all the games that I've been playing, I've been using an Xbox controller. Again, this mod does support motion controls, but just the games and the nature that I'm playing these on, no reason for motion controller in the games that I'm playing. I'm not going to be playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 with a motion controller or Crash Bandicoot. I'm going to be playing with an Xbox controller because it just makes more sense. But you could, you know, go in that direction. But let's say, for example, I'm going to show you guys Pinball FX, right? All you got to do is you start the game like normal. So let's say that we do that right now. The mod is sitting right here. This is the folder from the EXE that I had downloaded, ready to go. You wait for the game to get to the actual main menu. Scroll back, you're going to tab out, and of course you're going to go ahead and open your actual mod file. So I have mine sitting on the desktop that I just showed you guys. So here's the UE4 folder. I haven't done anything to this. This is the straight download that you guys are going to be downloading, and you can see that there's something in there called UEVR Injector. So you're going to right click on this and run as administrator. It's going to open up the launcher here, and the key is to make sure the game is already running, like I showed you guys here, and it will show you that the game is already running. You can see Pinball FX, right? And you can see that there's two different options here, Open VR or Open XR. I have been using Open VR with the big screen beyond. So that's what I've been using, and then all you got to do is hit the inject button right here. That I am now in the actual game. So I'm putting my big screen beyond on right now. As you can see, I'm going to turn, I have my controller here in hand, so I'm putting my big screen beyond on. And of course, now I can see this game right in front of me, as you guys are looking at it as well, in VR right now with no issues at all. Now, of course, we want to take our mouse right here, and you can see that you have this UE4 engine. This is the options that you get. You can see I'm running this game at 3560 by 3560. I do have a 4090 in my PC, so I obviously have really high end specs. You may have to manipulate the resolution. This resolution is coming from whatever you have set in Steam VR. When you're playing with a big screen or stuff like that. So this is what I currently have it set to. Sometimes I have to drip this down to 3000 by 3000 depending on if I want to run the game at max settings. Not Pinball FX in general, but other games out there that may be a little bit more demanding. You may have to lower this resolution down a little bit. But you can see here, you can set the standing height. So I always hit that when I start these games. You can set the origin, and then you can recenter the view. So when I'm looking forward, and now it resets the view correctly. Now, technically, you don't have to touch anything else for a lot of games especially if you're using a gamepad like I am. So I have the gamepad in front of me, and you can see, boom, I am in VR. I'm running this game right now, and going through the tables, you can see, I can see this in 3D as I'm scrolling through. So let's say, for example, I go ahead and click on one of these tables here, Charlie Brown Christmas Pinball.
Charlie Brown Christmas.
Go ahead and hit play. You can see it starts to load. And boom, we are here looking at Pinball FX in virtual reality. Look at how fantastic this looks in 3D.
and I can look around. Some of these tables actually have little environments on the side that you can see, so you can see the snow area and stuff like that. And then if I hit the A button, there goes the ball. If I hold in this particular game the trigger button and hit the Y button, I can get different angles of the table and stuff like that, where you can see me scrolling through, depending on where I want to stand from and where I want to be looking at. This is usually the view I like to go for, and then I can kind of stand here, and boom, I'm sitting in VR playing virtual pinball. Go ahead and hit the A button, and you got my triggers right here working.
And sending Christmas cards and decorating trees and all.
And now I'm playing all these Pinball FX games in literally 2 minutes. You saw how fast that was. That's how fast you can get these games to run when they work, especially with the controller. And I'm sitting here playing in 3D in virtual reality. It's amazing. I never want to play Pinball FX without playing it this way again. I mean, why would I? I can see this game in 3D exactly how I would want to play it. I can look around on the table here, you know, playing this game. And it's just awesome, and it took me literally less than 2 minutes to get this to work. It's crazy. And like I said, you can look around the side. You can see the DMD actually goes to the left. That's how it works in Pinball FX. This will also work the same exact way in Pinball M. It works the same way. You can see some of these tables actually have little environments in the background and stuff that you can kind of take a look at when you're scrolling through, which is really cool. But, I mean, this is just awesome. I mean, this looks so good at this resolution, especially on the big screen beyond where, you know, you have the OLED panels and stuff like that, and you have the high resolution of these panels being, you know, native 2500 by 2500, and then I'm running it even higher at 35 by 35 with the upscaling on
sending Christmas cards and
on
decorating
Steam.
trees.
But this is just amazing, and you can literally just exit out, and boom, you're back at the main menu on Pinball FX. It's kind of insane on how well this actually works by just how simple I kind of put this in here. And we're gonna go ahead and back out of this game here real quick and take this headset off here for a minute, just to get back to talking to you guys, and I'll show you guys another game. But it really is that simple on as far as getting that to work. And you can see, you know, we have the, you know, back at the Steam home menu here. But it's crazy. And then what I usually do, just to avoid any issues, I usually just close, if I bring this back over here so you guys can see, if I flip this back around to be on my desktop here, I usually close this window out after I'm done with the game. And if I'm going to open up another game, you just follow that same process. You go into the folder and open up UEVR once you actually have a game already launched and stuff. Obviously, I'm playing with an Xbox controller, but this mod does support making motion controllers work, and that is in that guide that I showed you guys there before, where you can get motion controllers to work. Returnal has motion controller supports for 6DoF and 3DoF, which is insane. And you don't even have to go through the whole entire tutorial and, you know, sometimes go through that whole entire process and learn it for yourself. Well, you can even just download other people's profiles that are out there, which is why I think you should join the Discord, and the profiles will also be, some of the profiles will also be on the website here as well that he's been sharing. But join the Discord, and everyone there is talking about each individual game and saying, hey, this game runs well, and if you want to make it run even better, download my profile because I tweak this setting to make the camera angle this much better. Or, you know, I added the motion control support, and then you download their profile, you inject the profile into the mod when you're running that game, and boom, and like seconds, thanks to someone else's work that they shared the profile with, you can have full-on motion controller support with your index controllers or your Quest controllers if you want to, like they have with Returnal and other stuff already. So I'm going to show you one more here. Crash Bandicoot was another one that obviously I play with a controller. I don't need to, you know, do anything else with it, and it works really, really well. It's another Unreal game, and it's a platform. So we're gonna go ahead and now launch Crash Bandicoot here. Obviously, it's not in the right position, so we again do the same thing: set standing height, origin, and recenter the view. Close it out. Pick up my Xbox controller, and here we are in VR, looking at the Crash world. I mean, guys, do you guys see how good Crash looked there? When I was looking around, I mean, just look at this and how good this actually looks here, and while you're playing Crash, it's just insane on you know, how this game can look, and you know, getting a game like this natively working in VR. And now we have a full-on platformer working in VR right now, which is just insane. I'm obviously not going to bore you guys here with the actual gameplay. I just wanted to show you guys that it is another game that actually works, and it's just crazy how well these games are actually working. It's just really simple to use. And even when it's not simple and something's broken, now we have a whole giant community out there trying to get these games to work with downloading profiles and stuff. So there's a lot to explore here. There's a lot of different games that you can kind of get into here. Like I said, these are just some of the few that I have here on
you know, that I've shown off here today. And don't get me wrong, obviously we're in a situation here. I don't think, like I said before, I don't think this is going to be, you know, that all of a sudden we don't need any other VR games to ever come to PC ever again. This is still playing 2D games that were made for 2D in VR, and it's amazing because now some of these support motion controls, but they weren't sometimes always made, obviously, for VR in mind. So when you get a game like Asgard's Wrath or things that are actually built for native VR, they're going to be quote-unquote better in that way because they were made for VR. You know, you're not going to be able to replicate certain things out there like 11 Table Tennis playing a table tennis game in VR. We still want VR to succeed. I still want VR to get their own actual games that are supported by VR. But this is just another avenue of playing even more games in VR thanks to this mod that helps us have even more stuff to play. And more stuff to play, especially on PC, is awesome.
So I hope you guys enjoyed that video on the, you know, where we are with PCVR right now. So many more games to be able to explore. And, you know, like I said in the video, I have a controversial opinion. I don't need to always have, you know, motion controllers for every game. Some games are going to be playing perfect with a controller, like I showed you guys there. And, you know, having all these VR games is fantastic. And don't get it twisted here. Some of these games can easily be native VR games that you would never know otherwise, except that you're just playing them with a controller. Not every game needs motion support. And the mod does support motion controllers, so if you want to add motion controller support, you can. But I'm just saying, some of these games, some people look at VR and they're like, oh, if a 2D game got ported over to VR, that somehow makes it less of a VR game. And that's not always the case. It just depends on how good of a job they did porting that game over. Resident Evil is a prime example. I would never play that game in 2D again. I'd rather play it in VR. And it runs like a native VR game. It doesn't matter that it was a game that started off in 2D flat screen. It's just that good. And it's the same thing with some of these games that I showed you guys here in the VR mod space here. And we're just at the beginning starting line of this. People are going to be creating new profiles to make the games run even better. But Pinball FX, why would I ever play that game again without playing it in VR? I mean, especially here on PC. It looks fantastic. It's exactly what we always want in pinball, is to play them in VR. And the mod took me literally, not every game's going to be this easy, of course, but it literally took me a minute to inject that mod into there, which is insane, like I talked about. But super happy with this mod. I can't wait to see what the community does and we get more support for, you know, even more Unreal Engine games. But this really does blow the door open for PCVR. It makes me excited for PCVR all over again because now we have more games to play, you know, in VR than we ever had before on the PCVR side of things. And it makes the PCVR marketplace really exciting for VR. And like I said, just got the big screen VR, which makes me even more excited to be able to use this headset more and more. So guys, if you guys have any questions about what you guys have seen in today's video, as always, leave it down below. If not, thank you guys for watching. Till next time.